One change between corruption within international cricket, traditionally, and corruption within franchise cricket, possibly, okay? I'm going to throw it out there. But I remember hearing a story about a cricketer, really famous cricketer, and essentially he was forced to match fix by his captain. So the captain of an international side obviously would wield a lot of power within the group. And he was a young guy from an impoverished background who suddenly, after all, and we've heard this story millions of times and millions of different sports, after his family had given everything to try and get him, he was the family hope. He was the, and he rocks up and he's going to be playing for his side, and he's called to his captain's room, and his captain says to him, "Tomorrow you're going to play and you're not going to bowl very well," or words to such effect. And he's heartbroken. This is a hero. He's someone he's looked up to all his life. This is the pinnacle of his career. He's finally done it. His essentially his and his family financial well-being is secured for the next 10 years if he plays the game. He doesn't want to take the money, but he takes the money and he does what he said. And he goes on to have a long career, and he hates his captain with a passion for putting him in that position. That story could have been told many times across many different generations within international sport. But it doesn't quite sound right in T20 Franchise League because, of course, the captain doesn't wield as much power, or the captain doesn't have as much influence. Or does he? Is that still the way it's done?
Well, the owner does. Mohammad Ashraful is a good example of that because he was censured for match fixing. And I interviewed him a few years after that, and he said he felt he had to do it because he was threatened with not getting another contract again. So in the franchise world, the anatomy might include those kind of threats. If you don't do it, you're not coming back here next season, you're not getting your contract, and I'll make sure you don't get a contract in this league again. And it's often players who are considered weak or vulnerable, junior members of teams, being approached by maybe senior members of the team. There's something quite unpleasant about that. I look back to Mervyn Westfield, who's the only player to have actually gone to prison when he was done for spot fixing for Essex. Junior member of the team, didn't really fit in, fell under pressure to do it because of a senior player making an approach.
When you sit there...
Was that a senior player in the team?
Yeah. So that was Danish Canaria and the Essex and the spot fixing scandal.
Yes.
And Mervyn ended up in Belmarsh, and he was sharing a cell with a murderer, I think. And he was a junior member of the team. Mohammed Amir was a junior member of the team as well.
Yeah, and
there's a lot of these.
And the voice recordings were released, and he was threatened. Mohammed Amir, you heard the voice recordings from the night before. He wasn't asked nicely, "Oh, would you mind? Would you mind? I have a step in tomorrow." He was told he's got to do what he's told.
Lou Vincent, another player, well documented, had some real struggles in his personal life. Another vulnerable guy.
You're a cricket fan. You two first met in 2005. We first met, you might not remember, 2009 in Antigua.
Yeah, it was freezing.
And you were struggling to get the Wi-Fi working.
Yeah.
Something.
I've never been as cold in my life as Antigua 2009 because the wind whipped into that recreation ground. It was unbearable.
And the Wi-Fi wasn't working, and they were charging us $25 a day.
Yeah, they were.
You want to come up Newcastle where that's pretty cold.
Do you trust cricket? When you're sitting there and you're watching it as a fan?
Well, when I wrote that book, Bookie Gambler Fixer Spy, I said I'd never watch a cricket match in the same way again. And I don't watch it with innocent eyes at all. No, I'm always wondering, is this right?
What, Lancashire versus Durham?
Well, I don't watch Lancashire, but... No, but I don't. But
he said
a question for you, David. When you are watching some of these franchise leagues, and you all know far better than anybody when a player has done something, do you ever think that's not right? Or fielding positions, if you see no backward point, and the quick bowlers bowling short and wide outside off.
Do you know, I must be so naive and just a cricket geek. I never see it that way. But when I worked at Sky, and other senior commentators would say that's not right. What's going on? But it wouldn't come out in commentary. It'd be from the back of the box. And I genuinely, I'm so naive. I'm still working on cricket matches, and of course I do Lancashire TV, which is Lancashire versus Durham, and on Friday it's Lancashire versus the Bears, and I never see it. I just see a game of cricket, and I watch a lot of league cricket as well. So obviously I don't see it there. No, I'm very naive. But I will say that my other senior colleagues when I worked at Sky would be very quick on it.
Yeah.
But oh, hello. Yeah, and I'd be. I'm talking about the senior guys, the big guys.
Yeah, I mean, I keep an eye on it, and I have a cynical eye, and I always think, well, you've got to try and keep up to speed with things, and it's far better to be like that in the industry I work with, governance and Betfair. Just to pretend it's not happening would be foolish.
But last year, click on the TV, and it's greatest Ashes since 2005. You must be able to just switch off for a minute and just enjoy the spectacle without thinking, "Ooh, maybe point could be a little closer there." Or you must be able to just go, "Yeah, this is."
Yeah, I can switch off from that a match fixing point of view, but I won't switch off from the fact that I'm on Crawley under 25 and a half runs, and I'll never switch off because I'm not an England fan, or I'm not an Australia fan. I'm whoever I've backed in that
where the
game.
money is.
Yeah, where the money is. So it's not. I mean, from that point of view, is
that a good bet?
Cricket's
under 25.
Cricket's been ruined for me.
I
9
like
times out
a
of
bet.
10 it is.
I like a bet and bet responsibly, and I've worked so hard to get what I have, and I'll bet little bits. I have a golden rule: I never bet on anything that can talk.
That's not true. Because don't you bet against your football club?
No, that's awful. I can't. No, we were that bad, and it was like printing money. I can't. I'm not saying who the football club is because I'm a season ticket holder, and whoever we were playing, I think they're going to win. They're going to win. They're going to win. But it was only a fiver. I mean, a fiver.
Last question for you, Ed. So 10 years ago, you wrote the book, and you're in a different position now from where you were and how you view things. Is it possible to look 10 years from now and surmise where the game's going to be in regard to this problem? Will it be better? Will it be worse? Will it be different?
Well, I think it would be better if T20 franchise cricket, which isn't going away, it's only going to get bigger. And how that pans out, I don't know. Whether these satellite leagues are sort of you're winning points for owners for your franchise teams in an IPL or a Champions League or what have you. Unless those franchise leagues have got joined up thinking on governance, safeguarding, codes of conduct, rights and responsibilities, the things that Jarrod all mentioned about making it organised, then that $200 billion industry, which will be probably bigger by then, well, it will be bigger by then, match fixing and spot fixing will be a threat. And we'll also have that twin threat that we mentioned earlier about players in terms of competition manipulation, moving on to their next bigger contract and perhaps not performing the way they should be.
What do you think would happen if India legalized sports gambling, which I know there is movements, but it hasn't quite happened?
Yeah, I mean, it hasn't quite happened for 10 years.
Yeah.
It's always, it might be this year. I don't think it'll ever happen. I think there's too many self-interests, people with self-interest that the industry remains illegal. But if it does become legal, then you have a paper trail almost immediately, and you could see a situation where it mirrors the UK market, which is legal, and you have betting pattern data, and you have markets which are shut down as soon as anything becomes remotely suspicious. So if you could legalise betting in India, great, but that's not going to happen.
On AM, on DAB, via the talkSPORT app and on your smart speaker. talkSPORT.